So I've owned the Insta360 X4 for about 6 months now, and in this video today I'd like to give you an update on what my experience has been like with the X4. That way you can have a better understanding if this camera's right for you, in case you're on the fence, shopping around for cameras and you want to know, is the X4 a great camera for me to buy? So first of all, what kinds of things have I used the X4 for? So in my case, I do a lot of hiking. I love to hike, and the X4 is a fabulous adventure camera for that. And the reason I like it is because I can film my surroundings, but I don't have to take the time while filming on my adventure to figure out how I want to frame each and every shot. Because of this being a 360 camera that films in 8K 360, I have a lot of flexibility later on to reframe that footage and pick the exact framing that I want. And something interesting I've found is sometimes on my adventure, I have a specific framing in mind that I'm going to do later on. And I get home and I look at the footage and I'm like, oh wow, I actually can frame it this way and it's going to look even better. So that's a great thing about 360 footage. You don't have to get it all perfect while you're on your adventure. Later on, when you're reframing in the studio app on the computer or the app on your phone, you can get that framing perfect and just the way you want it. Another way I've used the X4 a lot is biking. I like to do a lot of biking, and I have some special accessories where I can mount this on my bike and get some really cool footage. I can get angles that look like a drone is flying in front of me backwards as I bike, and the camera's not visible at all in the footage because of the invisible selfie stick effect. Which, speaking of accessories, I have an entire video dedicated to the accessories that I love and use with the X4. I'll put a link at the end of this video if you want to check that out. But back to biking. With biking, I have a lot of options and flexibility, and I can get some really cool shots while biking that's not just a POV shot, as if I was wearing a camera on my chest. It's very cool to have a lot of flexibility there. And the other use cases I have for the X4 is I like to do a lot of time lapses with this camera. The 360-degree time lapse allows me to reframe the time lapse and add a lot of motion later on. So it's not just a static time lapse, and that motion really makes the time lapse a lot more interesting. And night lapses, this camera is very capable as well. I love using it for night lapses, and I've done quite a bit of that too. And then the final use case I've had with the X4 is I like to take the 360 photos on there. The photos are pretty cool. There's a lot of flexibility there as well to reframe that photo and get a static photo after the fact. And compared to the X3, in case you're wondering, I do like the X4 a lot more than the X3, and the biggest reason is the 8K footage. The X3 only went as high as 5.7K in the 360, and when you reframe that 5.7K later on to 4K, the footage had a noticeably lower quality. It wasn't bad, but in certain settings, that footage just didn't hold up really well on a 4K timeline. But with the 8K 360 video, when I reframe it to 4K, it holds up very well in projects with other 4K footage. The footage looks really good in that 3840 by 2160, especially at the high bit rate. And another noticeable improvement with the X4 is it does do a lot better with that low light nighttime footage. Insta360 has really optimized their algorithm, and it is recommended to use 5.7K for that nighttime footage. That does give a little bit better result, and it tends to have less noise and grain. But even in 8K, I do 8K a lot with low light. It does a great job with that as well, and you can just toggle it into that low light mode, and the camera does the rest. Since the X4 was released back in April, Insta360 has pushed several firmware updates to it, and those firmware updates have further improved the quality and clarity of the footage, and it's definitely noticeable from where the camera started off to now. Insta360 has continued to make the footage look even better. And in addition, Insta360 has done several updates to the Computer Studio app, as well as the mobile app. And one of the biggest improvements with the mobile app is all of those AI features. It makes editing a lot easier. And sometimes you might have a piece of footage where you don't really know what to do with it to get the best results from it. You can use those AI effects, and they're going to reframe it. You can even add some music if you want to. And it's going to reframe your shots, add motion, and kind of do the editing for you. I find that can be especially useful if you're doing a short from your footage or anything like that, and you don't want to take the time to edit, or you just really don't know what to do with that clip. The AI editing does very well. And as far as reliability of the X4, I've not had any problems with overheating, and I've not had any problems with it freezing up on me. And of course, I do make sure I use a fast enough micro SD card in there, and I only use the Insta360 genuine batteries, and I've not had any problems at all. And that includes hiking on some pretty hot days with this camera and having this camera running for a pretty long time while filming. So I'm happy to report there's been no reliability issues with this camera. It's been great. So we're now at that time of year where Insta360 is offering great sales on the X4. In fact, they have a Black Friday sale going on right now. It's going on for a couple more days. And the Insta360 X4 has a steep discount on it. It's the lowest price I've seen so far. And there's a lot of accessories that are on sale as well. So I definitely encourage you to check it out. If you're in the market for an X4, now's a great time to buy it.